Yes, welcome to No Ideas Original featuring Chanel.
Broke up a little bit.
I said, welcome to No Ideas Original featuring Chanel, Mr. Robert Zane. What's good? How y'all doing?
Good, brother.
Everything good, man.
Yo, so let's get to the business at hand. We got a big interview today. We got Shirt King Phade, legendary Shirt Kings. If you don't know who, especially if you're from New York City, that's a problem.
That's a problem. That's a big problem. Especially if you grew up in hip hop. If you grew up in hip hop in the streets and just been around the park and park jams and places like the Fever and the Tunnel and Black Quarters, you ain't have a Shirt King shirt, and niggas was not paying attention to you, B, for real.
Right.
That's a fact.
Yo, so we want to bring in our guests today, Shirt King Phade. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Peace, King.
Hi, how's it going, y'all?
And I see we got Justin. Is Justin your partner?
Yeah.
Let me bring him in too. What's good, Justin? How you doing?
Good evening, fellas. How y'all doing? I'm all right.
What's up, bro? How you doing, brother?
So the audio's good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yo, so let's start this off right away. So Phade, let me just ask you, I'm from New York City, so of course I know that the history of Shirt Kings. I know the work you put in.
Yes, sir.
Legendary. But for our viewers and listeners, can you just tell us a little bit about your history and your transition from graffiti to fashion?
Oh man. First of all, thanks for the opportunity, to be on here. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate what y'all doing for the culture. Anything that we do pushes the culture forward. My story is a straight New York story. I see New York as always being the foundation to a lot of things.
Right.
Whether we know it or not, we're still the nucleus.
Talk about it.
It's kind of like like one of those series, one of those stories where like certain people is chosen to go ahead and save the whole world. Like I don't know what eras y'all grew up in, but the era I came from, it was definitely devastating poverty.
Right.
I was born in East New York, Brooklyn, and then I moved to the Bronx. When I moved to the Bronx, it was at the inception of hip hop. I was only a child, I was a baby, but I got to see it through my brother's eyes, my older brothers and one of my older cousins, and I seen how people will come back with, different things like breakdancing and DJing and just going through all the different levels of what life was throwing at us at that time, So when I came of age, I pretty much engulfed myself in the graffiti part of it, And fast forward, I'm considered one of the pioneers of hip hop fashion.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Which is dope. And I tell you, as a kid, I grew up in the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx. And I was blessed. I don't know if you can see it, but I got me a Shirt King shirt. I had the Yosemite Sam. Yosemite Sam with the side in his head that said, "You fucking varmint." I had that. That was my shit, yo.
That was yours.
Yes, sir. I love, I troubled my mother so much to drive me out to the Coliseum to get that shirt. And she was like, "You know what? Let's drive out there and get it." I think I was about 17 years old, son. But let me ask you, you being a graffiti artist, yo, what was your best burner?
My best burner? Oh, coming up in the BX, it was full of competition. So, you had to go through like a passage of rights,
Right. That's right.
And so, I went to the high school of art and design. So when I got there, I was a toy. Like I wasn't good at all,
Right, yeah. And for those that don't know, toy was like, you was whack if you had toy on you.
Yeah, I was whack, bro. You know, and Cats told me that, and even made me change my name because I was writing Phase, Phase, but I knew of Phase 2 from the Bronx, who was the ultimate legend.
Right.
And my brother used to hang out with him, you know, and of course he used to go to Clinton, and
Right.
brother went to Roosevelt, but Phase 2 used to go to Clinton, and he was the ultimate. So, you know, in anything in life, when you aspire, you want to be the best. So we didn't have the button yet. We had Dr. J. So when I played basketball, I wanted to be Dr. J. We didn't have Tyson yet. We had Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
So,
Ali.
you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm gonna fight niggas like, you know, I'm gonna be Ali. I'm gonna be nice with the hands. Then when it came to the art, you know, we had Phase 2. So I said, man, I got to be like him. So I took that name first, Phase 3. But when I got to high school, you know, cats like, you know, I say today they clown me, and you know, but they didn't know. You know, I mean, this is like a storybook, because this is not something that you know you don't tuck in. You know, you turn around and say, you know what? Now I'm not really good. You know, so I went down the alphabet and created the name Phade, and from there, you know, I heard about this dude from Jackson Avenue named Case 2, who ended up becoming my mentor. Case is the one. Yeah, with the one
I grew up in Jackson Projects.
Oh, stop playing.
Building 700.
Oh, cool DJ AJ lived in that building.
Yes, sir. Back in shout out to Fish. Shout out to DJ Fish. Swiss Beat.
Wow. See, so I used to hang out with the Morehouse crew, you know, back in the days. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's where Case was from. And you know, that's how I got my first introduction to the streets from Case. You know, I was 14. I was probably 13. He was 25, and he put me under the wing. And mom used to be like, "Who's this grown man you bring into the house?" You know, and she didn't understand that. You know, I had to get that knowledge that he had. I had to get that information that he had. You know,
right.
So through him giving me my my second outline, which happened to be a nice burner, that's how I started getting nice. And him giving me confidence, he was like, look, little man, you know how to scale from your head, how to scale something small to something big. He said, you're going to be nice with this, you know? But he used to like kind of tell me, kind of like, let go. He said, I'm too rigid. You know, he used to try to like, kind of like get me to use the force. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I did a couple of nice pieces on the train, you know. I think probably one of the best ones was when me and Case did a beam and fade, and you know, it was just those times when people used to smoke dust and all of that. So, you know, we was out there. So he tried to smoke. He tried to do a Mickey Mouse, and it came out looking just like it was dusty.
Where'd y'all go? Y'all went to 180th? The train yard on 180th?
Gun Hill Road.
Gun Hill Road.
On a 2.
So y'all wilded out when y'all seen a white train, huh?
Oh, for sure. For sure. You know, back then there wasn't many white trains. That came like later on. We just had to go over who was already there.
Yeah.
You know, other legends that, you know, but some carts you wouldn't touch. If you saw something, you'd be like, nobody went over it, you know?
That's right. That's right. Talk about how you met Almighty Knight and Kachin.
Oh, we all went to the High School of Art and Design.
Okay.
So, you know, and when I got to art and design, you know, I was pretty much already advanced because I was already running the streets. So when I got to high school, I wasn't like the normal high school kid, you know. So I try to look for A-likes, you know, try to see other kids who were cool like me.
Right.
And I seen Knight. You know, he walked by, he had the acrylic on a portfolio. He had drew a R2D2, and then and I had my Levi pants, or probably Lee's, where the graffiti going down the side of the pants. You know, so he was looking at my pants. I'm looking at his portfolio. Then he looked at my 360 waves. I looked at his 360 waves.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is a kid that could, you know, hang
I
out
can
with.
rock with dude. I can rock with dude.
Yeah, I can rock with you. You know? And you know, growing up, I've been always going back and forth to Brooklyn too, because we're the only family that left Brooklyn and went to the Bronx. So every summer I spent in Brooklyn.
Right.
So I kind of understood this kid, and when I found out he was from Marcy Projects, you know, it was that territory that you know you don't really go into.
Yeah.
I was able to get in there because of Night, you know, me and become friends.
Right. All right. That's what's up, man.
Good, Zane.
Great, man.
And with
tell us about who is some of your inspirations to make you want to start getting into the industry, as far as, you know, graffiti and putting it from the canvas to the trains and putting on t-shirts, etc.
I mean, I think when it comes to me, there wasn't no precedent to what I was doing. Like, nobody was doing what I was doing before I was doing it. Like, there were cats who were airbrushing. You know, there was people who were doing it at fairs. You know, you had a couple other graph artists that were trying their hands at it. But because of my street knowledge and information, you know, I used it as a hustle.
Right.
I didn't even see it as I saw it as a way to make money, but I also saw it as a way in, you know, because watching my older brother, you know, when he started hustling and learning that culture, and then a lot of the West Indian brothers came to the Bronx and stuff. And,
Yeah.
And so you just, you know, you get this frame of mind, you know, they like, oh, they got herb gates. You got a gate here, you got a gate there, you got a gate there. So I kind of applied that technique with my t-shirts. But it wasn't just a t-shirt. It was just, I have a new product to sell now. You know, I don't have to sell weed no more. I could utilize this, my God-given gift, and use it in the same fashion. So I was able to fuse that, and that knowledge didn't spark until like the crack era came out. And when the crack era came out, you know,
that was it right there.
Yeah. You know, I
85, 86.
Yeah. Let me ask you, and Justin, I'll be interested in also your opinion on this. You know, I feel like back in the 80s, hip hop there was more of an appreciation for how graffiti and the hip hop culture married. But to me, it feels like that people have forgotten how much graffiti has actually contributed to hip hop culture in this particular times. And I don't know what that's about. I'll be wondering, you know, just from your perspective, what do you think? Like, how do we get people to come back around to understanding how big of a role graffiti played in hip hop? Because now you see people are embracing breakdancing again, and breakdancing is going to be a part of the Olympics. So what do we do to put graffiti back on the main stage?
I believe we can bring awareness by creating a lot of the things that we're doing right now. As far as like a series, like you had the one about the Bronx on Netflix. You know, you bring awareness to a lot of the younger generation, which inspires them. Also, a lot of the work that we've been doing, which really hasn't been publicized at all, and only the people that know really know, is like, you know, bringing the knowledge to recreational centers, bringing it to schools. A lot of the arts are removed from the schools currently, so bringing in an individual in that can enlighten the children and give them another perspective and giving them an outlook. I think that'll be quite interesting. And we're working on a few things right now, and some awareness to the younger generation as well. So yeah,
it's just always interesting to me when you think about like some of the stuff. Look at look at hip hop as itself. You know, like, people thought it was just noise, and now it's been monetized, and everybody's made tons of money off of it. And then you look at graffiti, like before, I'm sure Phade, you probably experienced being chased by the cops for doing graffiti. Now it's on all the urban streetwear, and people making millions of dollars.
Definitely. I mean, that came with the territory, you know.
Right.
He was gonna get chased. The object was not to get caught. You know?
Right. Yo, Phade, talk about, and I wanted to show you this. I'm a bit of a fan, so I'm kind of nice too. I got some skills too, bro.
Okay.
I'll put it out there. Yo, talk about being the first to commercialize graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there wasn't no precedent. You know, my whole thing was you know, the lifestyle that I was living, you know, enabled these ideas to come to the forefront. You know, if I never hustled before, I wouldn't have a hustler's mentality approach to the art. You know, if I listened to my peers who said you can't be an artist and have a business mind, then you know what I'm saying? So I had to break a lot of molds that and you know, like when I used to run with a specific crew, they used to be like, this was a rap crew. They used to be like, yo, you gotta pick something. You gotta pick one thing and just do that well.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but if you know anything, you know, Jay-Z came out of our camp. So that destroyed that whole thing right there because he's not doing one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, you know, we have to understand ourselves as human beings that we're
multifaceted.
And the brain, we only use a third of our brain. So what are you going to tell to somebody who may be using half their brain, you know, or their whole brain? You know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother level of thinking and creation, you know? For me, it's like catch up. Because these things that are going on today, you know, I was doing this when I was 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
Had to wait for the technology to catch up because I already had the vision, you know, already had the ideas. And I was like, man, what would happen if this could happen one day? What if, you know, you have to force yourself to stay in dream mode for 30, 40 years until the whole world catches up, you know?
Sure.
Wow.
But I wasn't allowing people to overtake what I've been a part of, you know? So that's why I'm still here.
Let me ask the both of y'all. You can jump into this one too, Jeff. How important is the imagination?
You go first, Phade.
Go ahead.
I think it's very important, and I think that it's I think we should just pay attention to just how much they want in our mind. You know, the imagination is very, very important. We have a lot of representations of that. If you guys seen Soul, you know, there's a lot of representations there. So I believe that the imagination is very, very important.
And the reason why I asked that question is because I believe in the imagination, all things come out. Anything you see in front of you had to come from the imagination first. Even if you're in a problem or a situation you need to get out of, that's the first place you go. You know what I'm saying? And most people don't use it. And in fact, you used it, and look what it's done for you over the last 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? And one more question to you, Phade. Were you responsible for doing them backdrops on 42nd Street? I bet you all them shit was yours, yo.
Yeah, the whole team. We all did them. 42nd Street and Jamaica Ave.
25th, probably.
Of course, 25th Street, Apollo Theater. You know, all of those was ours. Yeah, for sure. But back to imagination. I mean, you have to see. I'm a forward thinker, so I think ahead a lot. So I imagine things, and you know, it's a gift from God. You know, He's allowed me to see things.
Yes, sir.
You know, before they even go down. So, and that preserves us. So an active imagination, if you allow somebody to kill it, you can end up, not being around. It's just a thought process that allows you to survive. For me,
That's right.
imagination allows me to survive.
Yeah, that's what's up. Okay, man.
Justin and King Phade, take us back to when Wild Style came out in the movie theater, and like Beat Street and stuff like that. Like, what were you guys thinking in order to improve your craft and all of that, and transition from what you guys were doing then to the next echelon?
Well, you understand that hip hop is a gift, right? That God gave us to free ourselves, so we wouldn't be in captivity. Otherwise, we'd be working 9 to 5s, for 30, 40, 50 years for a pension that might never come. You know what I'm saying? Through hip hop, we've allowed to be creatives, and God is a creator, and He's made us in His image. So therefore, we are creators. So we do anything less than we're not living to our full potential. So when you think of a Melly Mel, who I feel is kind of like, I won't say the firstborn, because I know it was Coke Rock and a couple of other MCs, but Melly Mel was the first to put the words in such a way that they were prophetic and really powerful and street edgy, and there were stories. He patterned himself after the last poets, who were my heroes.
Right.
So when I heard of Melly Mel, I was like, whoa. And then to a beat, that was intriguing.
Yeah.
So when Beat Street came out and he said just movies, museums, and the Hall of Fame, that's in his lyrics.
Right.
So he didn't know he was dropping seeds on little kids like me who were listening.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I could be in a movie. I could be in the museum. Or make it to the Hall of Fame, bro.
All in one breath.
All in one breath, bro. So that changed my whole trajectory to something else. So when the crack era came out, that's when I felt, okay, now my back is up against the wall. Am I going to sell? Or am I going to use all the training that I've been doing since a young kid? Because I followed a lot of the 5% teachers at one time. Nation of Islam, everything. I'm a Christian now, but I followed all these different schools of thoughts that allowed me to hold my hand from even thinking about destroying my own people.
Yeah.
Right.
So I always followed the lyricism. I followed the Rakim, the Melly Mel. I followed the Kumo D. Kumo D, I was in a stupor when I heard his music, and he came out with Turn It Up.
Yeah.
I think it was 1984, 84 going into 85. He came out with Turn It Up, and he started talking about, he said he's an entrepreneur. And it woke me up. And
I heard the words before, so back then.
Yeah, just like a ancient spirit, feel it, hear it. A metaphor for a living, bass amplified when fully applied. All adversaries become terrified. Because I think rhymes and he wrote them, then decode them.
Right.
Like, yo, what the hell is
wordsmith?
Like, yeah, I'm like, these words is real big, And he made me pick up a dictionary because I was like, what's a metaphor?
Yeah.
What's an entrepreneur?
Entrepreneur.
What's a poetic style? So these poets, made me question where I was at in life. And so then then the Nas's and then the Rakims and the and then the Kendrick Lamar. It's just like certain people got certain things. I think Little Baby got it too.
Yeah.
Too.
You know, and this is small. It's a small few, but they give you instructions. You know,
Right.
and
I would
they,
say Jay Electronica and also J Cole. Just sneak them in there.
oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure, definitely. J.
Mhm.
Cole, you know, when I first seen him, you know, when I heard his music, I was like, all right, whatever. But when I went to Rolling Loud 2 years ago and seen him perform and seen his commandment of the stage,
Yeah.
blew me away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yo, and by the way, I mean, look, my kids, I forced my kids to watch Beat Street. That's how yo, that's the affinity I have for Beat Street. I forced them to watch Beat Street. Yo, so born in Brooklyn, moved to the Bronx. How you end up at the Coliseum in Queens? How'd you determine that's where the spot was gonna be?
That was, you know, meeting Kashim in art and design. You know, that was my second Shirt King buddy who I met, and he was from Jamaica, Queens. He lived across the street from 40 Projects, and so I knew about 40 and kind of used to go out there with one of my cousins from Brooklyn because he had a girl named Eurasia that lived in Baisley. So we used to go see Eurasia, and then Eurasia would take us all around South Side and stuff. So I kind of knew people from one generation, but through Kashim, I ended up meeting a whole another genre of, you know, kids and stuff. And so me, Nike, the whole team from Marcy, we used to go and hang out at Kashim's house and, you know, sleep over there. And we all go to Marcy and sleep over there. So when I ended up learning how to airbrush from one of my graffiti partners who was airbrushing, and he taught me. Well, he didn't teach me. He put the airbrush in my hand and just let me go bananas with it, you know. And it was a series of things that led up to it. But if you know how hip hop started going, you know, it was in the Bronx and then it spread. You know, it spread down south because a lot of people went to the military. You know, it spread overseas, and it started to spread from different boroughs. You know, so by 84, 85, you know, Queens was becoming hot. You know, Brooklyn was becoming hot because we had the Fat Boys. You know, we had
Queens at LL.
right. We had LL. You know, and then obviously Run DMC.
Yeah.
And it seemed like Queens really just took it over. So what put the validity stamp on it was Kashim, because, you know, when I found him, you know, years later and told him about the airbrush thing, and I was like, yo, let me teach you, and, you know, we can make some bread doing this. And he was like all for it. And he was like, yo, I know Jam Master Jay. And I just felt, you know,
Legend.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, but if you,
Peace.
yeah, rest in peace, my dog. But if you live in the Bronx, that don't mean you know Grandmaster Flash. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's how I took that one.
Yes, sir. I lived in Jackson Projects, the St. Mary's Projects, and I did not know Mel, and I seen him all the time. Sir.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so I had to take it at face value. And, you know, Kashim was like, he made a phone call, and his man Lovey came through, and Lovey happened to be Run DMC's like right hand. That was Run's right hand man, and he set it up. And we walked from Jamaica all the way to Hollis one Saturday morning, and man, we knocked on Jam Master Jay's door, and sure enough, Jay came out, and he was like, "Yo, Kashim, what up?" You know, so it was true. He knew him, you know. And I pulled out 2 shirts from my bag and showed it to him. And I think that's what gave me the battery in my backpack, because this is like the #1 dude on, you know, MTV just coming out. You know, this is the #1 super group in the world. And he's talking about, yo, I want to buy some shirts from you. And y'all need to go to Jamaica Ave and open up. I'm not no fool, you know. So I'm like, oh, go to Jamaica Ave. So everything else became dead. I was like, No more Bronx. Harlem was still, you know, here and there because there was still money coming through Harlem. The Bronx already was kind of burnt out. Like the life shelf over there was my $20-$25 t-shirts, you know.
Right.
It never topped that. It never went past that, you know. Dudes was too familiar. Dudes was getting a lot of cake, but they didn't want to spend. You know, Queens had a different vibe about it. You know, dudes was getting money, and
they wanted to be hot.
Yeah, so that's when it jumped up to a $50 t-shirt. You know,
that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Talk about. Well, there's so much to cover, man. Because growing up in the Bronx and watching all this materialize, all these different fashions. But something dawned on me. I was like, y'all were the first people to introduce cross advertising. So to have Mickey Mouse wear a Gucci jacket with some Pumas, leaning on a Mercedes, that was all advertising.
Right.
Pure advertising.
Yeah.
How important, or explain how important fashion is to the hip hop culture? Or, you know what I'm saying? As far as, you know, how it made you feel to wear certain things.
Well, I'll take a quote from Dapper Dan. You know, he said what he did, he took what was already there, pretty much remixed it or sampled it and blackenized it. You know?
Put a little spin on it.
Yeah, so, you know, going to the high school in Manhattan, you know, me from the Bronx, Kashim from Queens, and Nike from Brooklyn, you know, we were trained for this, you know. Art and design trained us in advertising, cartooning, photography.
Right.
You know?
All right.
So,
yeah.
You know, so we were in that field of subconscious. You know, subconsciously we were already in the advertising field because they trained us that way. You know, now when it came to the cross branded, you know, it was pretty much us not only blackenizing the characters, but formatting characters that look like us. You know?
Pardon yourself. I'll be right back, King.
Peace. So it was more. Okay, we want to take a Mickey Mouse, and we wearing Fila suit, so it's gonna make so much sense for him to wear a Fila suit. You know, I got this little piece around my neck, so I'm gonna add that on to him too. Or it was things that we aspired to have. You know, we might not have been wearing Gucci yet. We had like Gucci frames because, you know, our design is around the corner from the Gucci store. So we already were in there, you know, and we were going and buying East St. Laurent and all of that already. So we already had that fetish for, you know, that
high
type
quality
of
fashion. Yeah.
But through the our drawings, just scribbling, you know, doing beat. It was a combination of taking the b-boy character,
Yeah.
you know, something from the world.
Yeah.
You know, putting it all together to make sense, you know, for us, you know.
Yeah, I kind of look at you and Dapper Dan as like hand in hand, you know, like having the same kind of impact on the culture. And to me, I always step back and I say, like, these things when it was going on, it was us. We lived through it and we knew the value of it. But now it seems like mainstream America has embraced it. So now you see all these ads and shit about Dapper Dan and stories and all this stuff. You know, and now people are starting to really do their research and learn the history and everything. Besides you and Dapper Dan, is there anybody else you could think of from that era that possibly hasn't gotten their just due yet?
Well, first of all, Dapper Dan is my mentor. You know, I met him the end of '88. You know, I popped open a store in Miami in '88, and I came back and popped open a shop across the street from 125th Street in the Mart 125.
Yeah.
And Dapper Dan came down a couple of months later and was like, yo, I'm hearing about your name. I'm hearing y'all are popping. We service the same people. He was like, come move down here with me. And I'm like, I'm in prime, I'm across the street from the Apollo, like we got free access.
Right in the mix, baby.
Right in the mix.
Everything.
Yeah, but I made that choice and I closed my shop up and went down with that,
All right.
And I stuck with him through the whole everything. I was there when they raided his spot. I was there when Sotomayor came and gave the letter.
Oh wow.
I was there for the whole thing. That's he put me in his book. But what was the question again?
I was saying, like, who else from that era hasn't gotten there just due? Because again, we lived it. We lived it, so we know what it is. We know what it's about. Yeah. But I think that there are other people that,
like they just do. I can name some names, but and I will. There's me and Dap is like in a different stratosphere because
absolutely
we always kept our brands. We never
ventured off.
A lot of these people went to go get the other money, but they still want to call themselves black brands and all of that. What you need to do is like what Dap did. He partnered. And so he maintained who he is, and they gave him. They were like, "Yo, you keep all the money." Like they not even taxing that. Like he's doing with Gucci is all him, So there's a certain level of integrity that me and Dap have that's totally different from anybody I can really mention. But I can mention people like Shabazz Brothers.
Oh yeah.
We need their just due.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, a lot of these people end up going corporate. They take the corporate money.
Become designer for somebody else.
It gets oversaturated then, as far as the art form.
No, it's really just it's something that somebody gave you, right? And then when you allow another entity to come in, then you sacrifice some of your integrity.
Right, you do. That's right, you do. They got an agenda too. You know what I
mean? Yeah. So there's a point where that can happen, but if you maintain your personal identity within it, then cool. There's a lot of people that don't own their names. There's rap artists that don't own their name. That's why Prince said, I'm a slave to the system. So a lot of these people who have said they're black brands, they actually turned themselves in and became slaves. And then perpetrate like, oh yeah, I'm still a black brand, and this
is face.
Yeah, right. Our face, you blackface. That's what you really is. And here it is. I don't have a problem with that because people gonna do whatever they got to do to eat. But as far as the integral part of it, me and Dap was like the last two standing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now also. Now go ahead, Shana.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what you want to do. Like you want to, at the end of the day, you want to partner with somebody because if you partner 9 times out of 10, you get to keep your vision. And people are coming on because they see value in what it is that you're doing. You think about like the impact that you guys had on the culture. Again, I just keep going back to that because all those pieces that Dapper Dan was making, it got on Gucci's radar, and Gucci said like, "Yo, we need to be making this. This shit is in demand that we need to be making this."
Right.
And I also thought it was how my thing was you created fly. I don't give a fuck. Street Kings created the idea of wanting to be fly. The idea of I want that. That's what I want. Matter of fact, I can create that. You know, how did it feel creating Street Fly, burners, bombers, and then dealing with going into corporate doors like Supreme, Champion, Nike, and still holding your integrity? Like you said, you had to hold your integrity, hold your name, but you had to merge too because there's a bigger market. They got the keys to the larger market.
See, this is the thing. This is a book that it just. I mean, this is an incredible book that has to be written because the stuff that I did in the streets, right? It translated to corporate, and I'm gonna show you how.
Mm-hmm.
I was part of a graffiti team. My team was TNT, right? And then we formed TC5. TC5 is part of Rocksteady, all right? In TC5, we had younger members. One of those members is the head of Supreme now.
Mm.
There you go.
So,
there you go, son.
right, so it's already paid forward where I don't have to give up my integrity.
Absolutely.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Amazing right there.
So good. That should feel good right there.
Yeah, dang, I know you couldn't.
And look where Jay's at. Come on, Jay lived
Right.
on the 5th floor, and Nike lived on the 1st floor in the same building. So
Right.
that type of deal happens, you know, people might say, "Oh, this" or "Oh, that," but they don't know the history that we already have, you know. So I'm saying I feel I'm so protected right now. Like God is just paying everything forward, you know. And that and Wes, you know, as Supreme, he's not like the only person that's in position. There's so many others, man, that happen to be there. You know, I did something with Nike because one of my peoples, you know, he's a creative director up there, and I didn't know. But they had my stuff up on the screen, I guess, about to jack me. And he was like, "Yo, why don't you just contact him?" Like, we don't know how to do that. He pulled out the Rolodex, boom, got me on the phone, and there I am doing something with Nike. You know, so you got to remember the dudes who's corporate now is the ones that they grew up
Right.
with us. You know,
Right. Yeah.
So legend has it that were you the one that actually introduced Jay-Z to Dapper Dan?
Oh, definitely. You know, I think it must have been around '89, and you know, I would ask Jay like to come through, but he was like, "I'm not going through there because I know that place is being watched, and you know, a lot of different people, you know, intersect there. You know what I'm saying?"
That's right.
So eventually, I got him to go because we were Jay came into town to do a show with Jazz. Jazz was traveling with Jody Watley, and they were doing Carnegie Hall.
Wow.
Yeah, so they sent the limo, whatever. I think they probably picked us up from the Coliseum, and we went to Harlem for some reason. And I was like, "Yo, it's time for y'all to meet Dapper Dan," and they was like, "Nah," you know. And
we ain't
we
going.
ended up pulling up there. We ended up pulling up there, and they came inside. You know, Dap was like, "Yo, who these dudes? Who these Brooklyn dudes?" You know, and I was like, "Nah, that's my peoples." You know, but that guy is sharp. You know, like he knows. You know, he saw what I didn't see. You know, he just knew Jay was a hustler. Like he was like
a real. He's one of the OGs, dude.
Yeah, he see through you too. That got a gift, bro. He got a gift, man. He's Neo for real.
Right.
Morpheus.
I'm sure. Yeah, he's Morpheus. My bad.
Yeah.
I will say this though, that I give a lot of credit to. Like, there's a lot of young cats that's into fashion now that they really reaching back and they really doing their research and bringing stuff out the woodwork. Like you said, like, you know, you look at Supreme, like all these partnerships, they really make sense. And seeing younger kids embrace it and seek it out, to me is like, it's rewarding. Like I recently joined the Clubhouse app. I don't know if you're on Clubhouse.
Did you really? You got Clubhouse?
Yeah, I'm on the Clubhouse app, and I go into like some of the fashion rooms and I just listen in. And one time I was listening in, and it was this huge debate on they were talking about fashion, and they were talking about designers, and they were talking about older designers versus newer designers. And there was a dude in the room that was really just saying like that there's this huge divide in the fashion world about old designers versus new designers. But listening to like the newer designers talk, it was like a lot of the newer designers they were really like reaching out and wanting guidance and seeking guidance from the older designers. Like, have you had that experience where any of the young cats pulled up on you and was like, yo, I really admire the work that you put in. You know, I want to partner with you. I want to do something.
Oh, most definitely. I'm the way Dap has embraced me. I've embraced like a lot of the younger kids in the community. You know, I don't know if you heard of Ian Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to him yesterday. You know, I work with Ian. I work with Rocky. I work with Kanye. You know, but I'm working with like Orge. You know, Orge is Rocky's people. I'm working with this kid Greg Ross. That's Kanye's people. You know, so they reaching out. You know, I'll be working with Meek Mills.
Okay.
You know, I'm working with a couple of, but I'm working with him through Fatima. Fatima's from Harlem, and she's a big time stylist. So, you know, they're reaching out, and they come over. I'm working with this other kid named Luke who runs a brand called Sicko. I don't know if you know Sicko. Yeah, so Luke is the head guy over there. It's Ian Connor's brand, but Luke is running it. So, you know, he was over here yesterday. You know, they understand the value, you know, and accessibility, and my doors is open for the youth. Because I believe, you know, that's what I'm here for, really more for the youth, like to give them what they didn't get a chance to get from possibly their own parents, you know, because I grew up in an era where, you know, I got a lot of jewels, you know, and those jewels are needed today.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Absolute fact, bro.
Yo, Rob was saying earlier too about cross promotion, and you know what to me was cross promotion too, when I think like rap artists realize and record labels realize the you know, like the power of your creations, because you see like the Audio 2, I think on their album cover had the Shirt King, you know, and stuff like that. How does something like that come about?
Usually the labels. Well, actually, it starts with the artist, and the artist make a suggestion.
Right.
You know, like I just did a design for Yams Day.
Oh, okay. Dope.
So, you know, they reached out and they wanted a specific design, you know, to represent their brother, you know, who I knew and used to go to his house.
Wow.
You know, and sit down and kick it with Yams for hours. We used to be in the crib for hours, you know, just talking and stuff. So, you know, I'm hands on. Like I actually know these kids, you know, like I'm sitting down with them and hopefully we have the power to change their mind, you know.
That's right.
Now, also being that, you know, we brought up ASAP. Tell us the relationship with ASAP Ferg father Darryl Ferguson.
Well, Darryl, that was really one of my best friends. Also, we went to the High School of Art and Design together. You know, he was kind of like with me and him, it was more, I think, like a yin and yang type thing. You know, me, Nike, and Kashim were different. It was more art. You know, they didn't come from the streets, so they weren't like built that way. But that was built that way. So I mean, that had a different understanding. It's like when he seen me coming to Harlem one day to come re-up, he's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you know, and I'm like, I'm doing what you do, you know, and he's like, he would always kind of still, even though we the same age, he would do that big brother type thing, you know. When I got in trouble, you know, Darryl was like, come work with me. And he had the thing going on at St. John Divine on 110th Street, and he had the silk screen equipment down there, and he was teaching kids. And, you know, while I was going to court and everything, I was going down there helping him. He wrote me the beautiful letter to take to court with me. You know, me and Darryl had a different street understanding, art, respect for each other.
Right.
So, to the point where, you know,
it was genuine.
Yeah, it was
Right.
genuine. We're family, you know. And so his son comes here comfortably, you know.
That's right.
He comes here, you know. He's like, oh, it's Uncle Phade, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tell us for the people that's viewing in, right? Tell us how you linked up with Justin.
That was my next question.
Justin could tell that.
Come on, Justin. Enter the party, Justin.
Go ahead, Just.
Hey, how's it going? Phade's like my mentor.
Oh.
I'm from the Bronx, from the Valley, not too far from Conway Road.
Wow.
Yeah, from the Valley.
That's crazy. This world is too small.
Yeah.
Keeping it real. Here it is. You know about Jackson and St. Mary's, and I'm from Boston Road. That shit is crazy.
Which Boston Road? What part?
Well, uptown.
Oh, yeah. I live in Eastchester.
Costa Avenue, Eastchester, Gun Hill Road, all that.
I used to live in Eastchester.
Say words.
Corsa. My best friend was from Corsa.
I'm from Eastchester.
Small world, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Shannon Holmes, we know each other from
Shannon
kids.
Holmes, we had him last week.
Yeah, we just interviewed him last week. Shannon Holmes.
I saw.
Yeah.
That's what Justin was the same.
Actually, Shannon Holmes gonna do a part 2 coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
I don't want to digress too much because I want Justin to add his in. My man, my man Mark Hayes said to shout you out too. Mark Hayes is another artist too.
Yeah,
I was
indeed.
telling him he did he did the Pete Rock shit.
Yeah.
He did the Pete Rock.
Yeah, he's from Hillside.
He's from Hillside. That's where I'm from, Hillside, yo.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead, Big Justin. You think, Justin?
Let me cut the light on.
Yes.
Sorry.
So I have a childhood friend who has a TV show currently. So at the time I was working, doing like behind the scenes for him because I'm a film director and I'm a video editor.
What films you working on, brother? Plug yourself, man. Tell us all that.
Oh well, I'm working on Shirt King Phade Documentary. That's one of the pieces that we're working on.
Nice.
So you guys can look out for that. You know, you guys have a lot.
Can't
of
wait
things
for that.
to look forward. Yeah, you have a lot to look forward to in the next couple of years coming up.
Nice.
Yeah.
But for me, I was just a young individual. I'm 35, so you know.
That's
B
right.
Street in movies like that is like it's informing me of what I missed out on or what the terrain, why the terrain looks the way it looks today, you know.
Right. That's right.
So Phade has always just been a mentor for me. I was working at Black Ink filming behind the scenes, and Phade walked in with his book, and at the time.
Look crazy.
You guys know Caesar. Oh, thank you, King. That's my I'm I got Native American, so it's my warrior look.
That's right, bro. That's right.
You know.
Yeah.
So long story short, Phade walked in wanting to give his book to Caesar, and he wanted to sign it for him, and at the time he was filming. So I was behind the front desk. Taking my behind the scenes shots and talking to the secretary there. So he inquired about having him be there while he signed it and giving it to him. So I told him that he was busy at the moment. So he came to me. He's like, hey, can you just take a picture for me and just give it to him? I'll give him the book. I said, hey, no problem. So I took a photo of him in front of Black Ink's logo inside. And I was like, hey, where you from? Because Fate actually had a hoodie on that I've only seen in my entire life. I've only seen about 5 people with it. It was a teaser hoodie. If you remember Teaser, that brand, and the man named Teaser, Taz Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've only seen Kendrick Lamar, Jadakiss, Fade, and a few other people ever in my life wear that hoodie. So when I saw him wear that, you know, I'm a pretty knowledgeable guy. So when I saw him wear that, I was like, nah, this guy's not normal. Who is this person? So so I was like, hey man, let's exchange information, and you know, like who are you, whatever. So he started enlightening me. He started enlightening me, and he was like, you know, I'm about to fly out, and I'm about to be back in LA where I live. He was like, you know, send it to me, and then, you know, let's talk. So I went home, got on the computer, emailed him. I edited a picture in like 2.5 seconds. Put my resume in the email, sent the email to him, and I was like, hey, when are you returning? He was like, I'll be back in a few months. Do you know that he came back to New York the same day that I had my 3rd son? Same exact day. I'll never forget it. September 29th. So from that day, we've just been kicking it. He's been teaching me. Like I said, I'm from the Valley. I know the history of the land. Indeed, shout out to Valley Mob. I know the history of the land. I know the history of the surrounding areas. I went to Harry S. Truman.
Yeah, I went to Truman.
He went to Truman.
Oh wow!
I went there after I went to Mount Michael. I went to Mount Michael for a year or two. But you know, I know Puffy went there. I know Blinky Blink used to live on Eli Avenue in
Blink went to Truman too.
Valley.
Yo, son, that part of the Bronx is undiscovered. There's so much talent. Everything above 180th Street is undiscovered talent, my nigga. Like
1,000%.
Talent up there, son.
It's a lot of energy up there. It's a lot of big energy up there. So for me, as I'm a person that, like I said, I knew the history of the terrain, the people that came out of there. I'm a nephew of 6 uncles. My mom, 7 children. My mom and her 6 brothers. So I had a lot of males to like see different like lifestyles.
Influence. Yeah, you got a lot of influence.
Yeah, so I went to private school, so my thought processes was different. I saw a lot of things. So I was like, well, I see all these working people. What about the person that just like they live off their imagination? And Fade has been he's been a living testament to it.
Yes, sir.
Because I have creative abilities that everything I see before it actually happens, it starts in my mind.
Right.
Like I see the final product in my mind. So for me to actually meet someone who's in like of me,
the A-alike. You meet the A-alike.
It's because it's definitely hard to come by. You don't meet people who actually know how to utilize their mind, or they actually reap benefits off of their mind. It's not something that they're actually going out to do. It's just information that's just coming in from somewhere, which is the same. It's the same laws that I operate under.
That's right, yo, and not to cut your wisdom, pardon, but there is a way to manifest every fucking thing you want in life. There's no cap on it.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it. You hold the vision long enough, in time, it starts to materialize. That's probably how he ran into Supreme over all the years. Back in the days, you did Rocksteady to Supreme. Like, who would think that those come together? You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of hip hop. That's the beauty of the art. That's the beauty of us. Keeping it real.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of us all. Yo, Fade, I wanted to ask you still hold a black book, brother?
I mean, I have to. I got black books.
You got a couple of black books. I know you do.
I mean, I can tell you a quick, amazing story about a black book, right? I got an email one day. Well, I got somebody hit me up on Facebook and was like, "Yo," and sent me some pictures and was like, "Yo, is this the same Phade from these pictures? And I'm looking at them and I'm like, yeah, it is, right? So homegirl was like, she was like, yo, I found this black book.
Wow.
And man, how do I begin this story? Okay, she used to clean up the train stations, right?
Wow.
She said in the 90s. Okay. She said lodged behind the seat, the wooden seats.
The wooden?
Yeah, wood.
Yeah.
This is like 90, 91. She found a black book. And she opened it up. She ain't pay no mind to it.
Wow.
They just give it to Lost and Found.
Right.
But she said when she looked in it, she said she felt it was important. So she gave it to the station girl. And she was like, yo, hold this here and see if somebody comes back.
Right.
He ain't come back. It was like 2 months. So homegirl was like, yo, you can put it Lost and Found or you could take it, whatever. So she ended up taking the book. And, she was like, this is too important to somebody. I'm not going to toss it, right?
Right.
So she brought it home.
Right.
He actually ended up getting sick, right, from the MTA. So she had to sue the MTA, so she couldn't work for them no more, right?
Wow.
So she ain't mine because she said, I'll just wait. So she stayed at home and was pretty much schooling her kid who had autism. Yo, she tells me that she took this black book and used to show the pictures to her son at a young age. And he used to take tracing paper and trace over the outlines of the graffiti in the book.
Wow.
So fast forward right now, he's in his second year. He's a dope graphic designer. Like,
Look at that.
basically, the graffiti art cured his autism.
Damn.
Yeah, but here's where it gets real ill, right? That's
somewhere in that story. I want to add imagination. The young man used his imagination.
yeah, exactly. But here's the other side. Of it. She was like, of course, she had won the case, so she ended up buying a crib, right?
Right.
She won the MTA case, ended up buying a crib, so everything was packed up. So when she was unpacking, she found the book again. She hadn't seen it in like 15 years, and she was like, oh, wow, remember this? And her son was like, yeah. She said, I would still like to get it back to its owner. And he was like, Mom, we got the internet today. Google the person. She was like, oh, shit, you're right.
Right. Right.
Yeah, her son, he's like, Google it. So she Googled and found out we already have been Facebook friends through a recording producer out here in LA who's from Brooklyn.
Wow.
Me and him was already tight. She taught him how to do beats. He introduced me to her like 5 years ago, so we already were friends.
Wow.
So she was like, that's when she hit me, was like, yo, this is the same Phade? And so she ended up mailing me the book. I got the black book right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Dope story. That's a dope story.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Man, let me ask you this. Like when you after like the shirts took off and everything, I noticed that there were other people who probably looked at it and they was like, damn, like I see this is catching fire. They chimed, as a result of that, they started doing their own thing on the side, and you had like the knockoffs. What how did you make sure that Shirt Kings stayed Shirt Kings? Because everybody knew there was a clear distinction between like, nah, bro, that ain't from Shirt Kings.
That ain't it, yo.
So that's where the streets came in. That's why you revert back to your instincts, and you got to shut the block down. Some dudes came in, and they were pumping shirts upstairs, and we were wondering why nobody was really coming downstairs. And then the girls told us, they was like, yo, there's some dudes, airbrushing upstairs. So me and little Chase from Marcy, we went up there. We ended up shutting the store down, and later that day we ended up beating the dudes up and everything. They end up happened to be our best friends because what we did was take their artist and he became a Shirt King. You know, it was, I mean, come on, that Bronx teach you all that mob shit. You know what I'm saying? Uptown Bronx.
You get jump in, son. Yeah, son.
Come on, man. So it's like, yo, you're not gonna pump on our block, you know. So we shut them down.
Wow.
And you know who could tell you the story? It was Mr. Cheeks and them. It's the LB fam. That's
Oh,
our family today.
Hey,
We had to put the gloves on them.
Hey, King Phade, I think you did it.
You on the lag, Zane?
Oh wow.
I just tell him he's on a delay.
Yeah. Yeah, Zane, try now. Nah, he can't hear us. Yeah. You know, you always, whenever you doing it, you know, invitation is.
Let me log out and log back in.
Flattery, boy. People get flattered and they see your idea and they try to capitalize on it. So I have seen a lot of knockoffs popping up, but you're absolutely right. Like at some point, you got to step in and you got to be like, nah, you can't have work on the same block.
I mean, the alternative was we had 16 Shirt Kings, you know? You know, we went from state to state. And it was already, you know, somebody that was there. You know, we went to Roosevelt, Long Island, got my boy Icon, you know? We went to Brooklyn, we got my boy Donnell. You know, we just gave jobs to people because that's how I was trained, you know? Each one, you know? That's the Halcom Rucker, you know, Harlem stuff. So,
that's right.
You know, work with us because we already got the name. We already, you know, blazing forward. So cats just pretty much joined on. So we had cats in Virginia. We had cats in Atlanta because not to Atlanta. We went out to Virginia. We was in Military Circle. That's how I know Pusha T and his brother. You know, they was kids coming to the store. Pusha had a story about that within himself. You know, Atlanta. I popped open a shop in Miami. Baltimore, definitely Baltimore. Shannon can tell you that, you know. Shannon Holmes, you know.
Right.
Yeah, we had a shop in Baltimore. You know, I was in the Baltimore, D.C. area for like 3 years. You know, we was just pioneering. It was like, okay, McDonald's could do it. McDonald's could sell cancer burgers. Wow, you know, we selling life and joy and fun.
Right.
Cartoon characters that, you know, you take your childhood character and flame him up, you know, and he look crazy. You know, he wearing what you wear, so let's do that. We just franchise, you know. We go to a town, Trenton, whatever, you know.
Set up shop.
Yeah, had my boy Prince out in Jersey at one time, you know.
Right.
Like, yo, Shirt King label, you know. You
nice.
For us now.
That's right. That's right.
So what tell us about the book, because I did see your book on your website, and what exactly is the Shirt King Academy?
Shirt King Academy is the teaching leg. This is the information that I've accumulated that I feel that the youth need in order to become entrepreneurs and tap into their creative juices and preserve, you know, the history the right way for the next generation. You know, has actually nothing to do with color or anything. It just happens to do who's going to be the keepers of the flame. You know, like keep the real hip hop alive. You know, and unfortunately, there's people, even pioneers today, that don't want to tell real stories. You know, because you know they've been bitten by that bug, bro. So lies is gonna get them paid. Then they want to hold down the ones who have truth or speak truth. You know,
right.
You know, I'm one of them voices that I'm not gonna be silenced, man. Like there's like you said, like even the Uptown Bronx part, like it's still the story hasn't been told yet.
Right.
Know?
That's right.
And, you know, Rocky is doing something, you know, from the Valley. Rocky, he's doing something, you know, and he's one of the DJs we used to go to the Valley to go see, you know, and people don't know about that. You know, first time I seen Grandmaster Flash was in the Valley.
Valley Park?
Because there was no way, Valley Park, because there's no way we was going to be able to go to the South Bronx and survive, you know. Cats they wasn't Casanova crew. If you wasn't with Casanova crew, you wasn't Flash. If you wasn't Zulu, then you wasn't walking into this Bronx River. You wasn't.
Right,
So,
right.
Uptown, even though Zulu came uptown eventually, to Mark Terrace, but even still, it's like, the uptown story just hasn't been told yet. So the academy, I feel the first point is to teach them a skill that will help unlock other skills within them.
Right. Now, is the academy just for the babies?
Oh no age, but it's really more youth. It is more youth orientated.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually
Look, I'm plugging myself, son. I got skills, son. I got I got a future.
I'm pretty. Hey, I'm pretty nice with it too. I've been doing it since the age of 5. I just got myself in the archive, man.
Okay, well,
Got myself in the archive, man.
I will tell you when I go to Oakland and I teach a class, my boy Reefer's up there. Reefer one, he respects our whole history and culture so much that he's been influenced, that he's been blessed to fly out at times like 50 to 100 artists of the first generation and second generation of graph writers in the Bay Area to paint schools, And what we found when we go and teach these classes that we do for the kids out there, it ends up unlocking, Graffiti is like same hieroglyphics that were on those walls.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
But what we noticed is that when we sat and taught letter forms, there were kids in that class that couldn't even draw and said, I don't want to do this. But then once they started doing it, by the end of that semester, they were bona fide graph writers and now have gone on to be muralists and designers and clothing designers and advertising and, different things. It's like,
muralist. I never even heard of that term before. Muralist.
Muralist. So this is the debate that I have a lot with a lot of the pioneers, because they always say that the music and all of this was first. And I was like, it's always the art first. When we had a renaissance, it started with art. Then the music came. You know what I'm saying? When Europe had a renaissance, it started with artists first. Artists is what? The imagination.
That's right.
Allow a group of people to say, we can imagine anything. We can do this, So the art is the first leg of hip hop. It started when I interviewed Melly Mel, Kumo D, all of them, Grandmaster Caz. They say, yeah, you know what, Faye, you are right. I was tagging first.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We
always DJing and MCing, any of that, they was tagging first.
I was tagging in my notebook. I was tagging on the back of my clothes, on my pants. I was tagging on everything. My mother used to get mad, like, why are you destroying them clothes I bought you? You writing all on your clothes?
See?
Like, I was bored. And this is another shameless plug, because I'm glad you brought up art. And that thing I wrote, that says Adams, right?
Ooh.
Adams is an acronym for Art Develops Undeveloped Minds.
He's at it again.
Art develops undeveloped minds. So I created this image of a light bulb, but it's a brain, and it's called Cracking Adams.
Okay.
So look out for that. Look out for that.
Why is it? With the debate you talking about though, Faye? Where does that come from? In the world of hip hop, like hip hop as itself is just the culture itself is just. It's amazing. So we have an internal debate now in hip hop also about which came first.
Man, I mean, it's so bad that we even have a debate on what borough it started in.
Right.
We always have that.
People have made documentaries.
I don't debate that. I'm from the Bronx.
Yeah. We all from the Bronx, man.
So I don't debate it, bro.
Yeah.
So what's next? What's next for King Phade?
Right now it's just these drops. You know, I got like about 5 different drops coming up. I got something going. The first drop is going to be with Yams Day. You know, which is the 18th.
Okay.
You know, that's coming up. That's in 3 days. After that, me and LL Cool J, we're doing another drop for Rock the Bells.
Okay.
Another brother, Alexander.
Crazy.
You know, so that's gonna be something really, really, really crazy. Doing something with Pro Club. I don't know if you heard of Pro Club.
Yeah.
Nah,
They the ones that created the white tees, you know, so they're pretty big here on the West Coast, the Pro Club tees.
Okay.
That's where, remember the Shaka tees in New York?
Yeah.
Well, Shaka was his partner, and he just pretty much took the formula and went to the East Coast with it. But it was those same type of quality cotton T-shirts, you know,
Right.
Shaka wear and started doing on the East Coast, you know. So Pro Club is the granddaddy of that. You know, they started out in '86 and I started out in '86. So, you know, we did a little collab together. You know, this is all like future stuff, you know, going on. And then me and Justin are working on, you know, we want to do something different. We want to do something that we don't want to stick to the traditional way of doing a film or a documentary. You know, we might have some, because I have an archive of photographs. You know,
Right.
what if I take one of my photographs and then have that photograph come to life?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
That's a great idea.
that I showed Justin with my cousin. He's in Elmira, you know, chilling, going with his kufi on. But you know, he's around today, so it's like we can explain something about that, but then it comes to life, and then the actual person is talking about hip hop. You know, talking about his experience in hip hop. Talking about his experience, you know, as a young man going through Elmira and going through all that whole, you know, that portion of it, you know.
Right.
Just, you know, just wanting to be different. Wanting to be different.
That's great. And I tell you something, man. One of the things I was most amazed out, and I call it a dope fade. Plug it in if you want it. The dedication you did for Fife. How long did that take, yo?
Man, believe it or not, only 2 days.
Really? You see how big that shit was? That shit was crazy.
Yeah, I think about 8 hours, because it was like 4 hours one day, then 4 hours another day.
Nice.
So
That was a dope
together.
That was a dope joint. That was a dope project, bro.
I mean, he was the homie, you know. I've been on tour with him, so it was a work of dedication, and a lot of times I see the vision first, and then I know exactly what to do. So then everything is kind of, for me, like paint by numbers. So the size doesn't even
didn't even matter.
Yeah, not at all. You know.
How big was that?
Probably 40 feet high.
Damn.
By 8 feet wide, maybe.
Big as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But it was dope, though. I appreciate why. I was like, wow, that's crazy right there.
Thank you, man. Thank
God
you.
bless you, bro.
Tell me this, like how I saw the piece that you did for Diana Ross's daughter, Tracy Ellen Ross. How did you link up with her in order to give her that piece?
Dapper Dan.
Dapper Dan? Okay.
Yeah, he came to LA and he said they're gonna interview me. So he was like, come on to the interview. And when he told me who it was, I was like, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. And I real quick, you know, took about 4 or 5 hours, knocked the shirt out, had it. Me and my son went up there. I waited to the end, and then I knew if I approached her, you know, they might take it as some groupie. You know what I'm saying? So what I did, I sent my son through, and he just crept through the crowd, went up on the stage, and he was like, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're so handsome," and da da da. And I was like, "Got her," you know. He was like, "I got something for you." He was rather my dad did something for you. She was like, "For what? For me?" You know. So you got to understand, one of the formulas is that a lot of people in those positions, people just take from them. You know,
Right.
nobody gives them anything. You know, corporations give them stuff because they feel that they're gonna get something back. You know, but that's still cold. You know, nobody gives them something personal. You know,
That's
they'll
right.
give them, oh, here's my Birkin bag. You know what I'm saying? Here's my, you know, my Alexander Wang, whatever. You know, but give them something personalized. You know, and she opened it up and saw it. She just, it was like hitting all the senses, hitting up every palette, you know, with different tastes. Like, wow, they gave her some, it gave her everything, and that's who she is. And she was like, I can't wait to wear this on the show. You know, she might wait
Now,
2 years.
tell me this: whether Justin or King Fade, are there any artists or entertainers that you haven't worked with that you would like to do a piece for?
Justin could go.
About to show us stuff.
Um,
Yeah, they both about to show. They both went to the Rolodex. What y'all doing? Y'all got stuff. Y'all went both in there.
no, I mean, I just want to produce and put out what I have a fade. That'll be a great thing to do. Something that, you know, it's personal because I've known him for a long time.
Right.
He's met my family. He's met my family, and I met his family, and it's a lot of history in what he's done. Other than that, I'm not really interested in anybody else. Other like there's one individual, Ryan Kruger. I like him.
Okay. Right.
And, you know, he's from Oakland and everything like that. So you know, it's a lot to talk about.
Right.
Shout out to Ryan too, man. He's doing an excellent job. What about you, King Fade? Is there an artist that you haven't worked with, or is there a dream artist that you didn't do a piece for yet?
Off the top, I would say the Marleys. Definitely love to work with the Marleys. Primarily, maybe the youngest one who just came on the scene. I forgot his name, but
Skip Marley.
yeah,
Skip Marley. Skip Marley's doing a lot of heavy stuff out there on the radio. He got some nice hits out there.
Yeah, him. Definitely Lauryn Hill directly.
Right.
Directly. Let me see who else.
You should do a Tracy Ellis Ross on her. So have a shirt already ready. And send baby boy out there. Baby boy out there. Say, hey, baby boy, go give it to him.
I mean, everything else is pretty much set up. Like, you know, like all the people who I haven't worked with that I'm going to work with, you know, it's already paid forward. You know, it's just a day when it hits them and they go, okay, yeah, let's do something together. You know, the timing. I think everything is already set up. Everything is set up. So I can't really think of anybody beyond that right now. This one, maybe man, I don't. Ooh, that's pretty tough.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what, I have one more question, right? Are there any exhibits or pieces that you guys haven't put out for the public yet that you guys kept as like a personal, you know, art exhibit that you didn't put out to the public yet that you might release, or you just want to just keep it to yourself?
I think it's a time to show, you know, what I have. You know, I have an archive. You know, I'm an archivist, so I have tons of photos. I have thousands and thousands of photos from from 74 all the way up. You know, ever since my mom's gave me a camera, like I got zillions of photos, got a lot of new artwork. You know,
yo, Just, you got your work cut out for you, brother, with that documentary, bro. He got material.
Yeah.
He got material
I'm well
from
aware.
Jesus.
Yeah, I have a lot of his stuff in my archives. Oof.
Yo,
I could imagine, man. It's just
you got
multitude of stuff, bro.
But good work though. Good, honest, bro. I mean, you can take your time and use your imagination as widely as you want to use it and come up with a masterpiece, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
as it was written.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Let me ask you the other question. What kind of collab would you like to see, like the Shirt King Academy brand? You know, like who do you see?
But look, since you
I would say Rob go first, Shannon, and I'll go last.
Since you asked, I said, you know what? I'm gonna ask the brother just because he's a guest on the show. If he put something together, and I want to use Pinky in the Brain. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I want the brain, right? I want the brain in a Mount Clear black bubble. Linked
He got a descriptive and everything.
linked up on a black Maybach.
Okay.
Talking some real shit like I don't know. Throwing phrase out there, son. But I seen the brain the other day, and the brain had a cap on, a nice cap. I was like, she look hot. I said, and it just so happened we about to do an interview with Shirt Kings. I said, I'm gonna ask that brother to do that.
Okay.
That's mine right there.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I would say I don't, in terms of like characters and stuff like that, I don't have like a specific character. Personalized like for myself.
No, I mean, like the same question y'all asked me, but I'm regurgitating it. Like,
Right.
Who would you like to see him work with?
yeah,
Yeah. That's what's going on. Yeah, I honestly, I think I'm open. I think any, like I was alluding to earlier, seeing these young designers and seeing these kids now really take over urban streetwear and fashion, and seeing the Supremes of the world, and seeing the Ronnie Feeks with Kith, and seeing like Stussy, and seeing all those different brands, you know, do their thing and come up, figuring out how they reach back and incorporate a King Phade into their design. If I could see that, yo, I'm good, because I'm all about paying homage. I feel like that there's a continuum when we talk about hip hop, and early on when hip hop started, hip hop was not monetized the way it's been monetized today. And I just feel like the people who were the forefathers, the creators of the culture, the first breakers, the first MCs, the first DJs, the first graffiti artists, those are all the people who paved the way and laid the foundation, but they didn't reap the financial benefits. And I want to see now that corporate America, white America, mainstream America, whatever you want to call it, now that they've reached out and they opened up the floodgates and they're embracing it and they figured out a way to monetize it, I want to see them give the shots to the people who pioneered it and pay them for what their contribution to the culture is. So I don't give a fuck if it's a stick figure on the shirt. I want to see y'all be compensated the right way, the same way I want to see the cool Hercs of the world. Like, you know, my father-in-law is working on a documentary right now around breakdancing, and I had an opportunity to be in the room when he was interviewing Kool Herc. And it was a powerful interview, because just listening to Kool Herc and knowing his contribution to hip hop, and then seeing some of these other people who haven't contributed anything to hip hop, but they have mansions, you know, and they're mentioned in all these conversations where here it is, the man that we all recognize, well-renowned, like this is the man who fathered it, that, you know, that they don't get the just due. So anytime our pioneers of this culture, get embraced by the new folks. That's all I need. That so collaboration, any way you can marry anything that's going on now, and to see the young kids take it on and embrace it, that's a win for me. That's all I need. Yo, and before Zane say his piece, I'll say this also. You know, like yo, I want to give you your props, your credit, and thank you for your contribution to hip hop. Because like I started out by saying earlier, you know, to me, graffiti in the 80s, people was recognizing, they acknowledged that graffiti was a big part of creating and helping the growth of hip hop. But for some reason now, here we are in the 2000s and 2020, and people act like, you know, like graffiti wasn't the shit. Just like you said, like people weren't doing graffiti before they picked up a microphone or before they started DJing. Think about it, yo, DJ K Slay, graffiti artist before DJ K Slay.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Shout out to K Slay too.
Yeah.
One, all of them.
Yeah, KRS-One, exactly. I do got some names now, like Virgil. Definitely will work with Virgil.
That'd be dope. Yeah, that'd be dope.
I will work with LeBron for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be dope.
You know, hopefully I get in on that Space Jam too. You know.
Yeah, that'd be perfect for you. That'd be perfect for you.
Universe.
That'd
Put
be
the universe, son. Let's put that out there. That'd be dope.
And definitely, Ronnie. Like we spoke a couple of times.
Okay.
From Kif.
Yeah.
You know, we spoke. Like I have relationships with all these people. Like we talk. You know, we talk here and there. I guess we're waiting for the right project.
That makes sense.
But as long as the youth, you know, keep coming in my direction, I have a better hold than they do, you know, because they've gotten so big that, you know, they might be disconnected, and I'm still with the young ones that are like, you know, with the ASAP Baris and the you know, Seventh Heaven, you know,
the people that they into the street.
Yeah, they exactly.
In the street that know what it is.
Pop-ups and making $1 million in 2 days, you know, off of pop-ups, you know. And once, you know, you get too big, you kind of lose that edge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still with the edgy.
Yeah.
You know, definitely would like to work with Damon John. You know, we spoke about it recently, so we see how that manifests.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. We had Willie Esco.
I actually know Damon John's. I know Damon John's business partner. You know Carl Brown.
Yeah.
I know Carl Brown personally. That's one of the 4 founders of FUBU. But I would say what I would like to see. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it's built yet, but I know that Nas was working on this hip hop museum in the Bronx. I would love to see your work, Justin's work, and other people that was a major influence to this art form up in that museum in the Bronx.
Oh, which one? Which museum in the Bronx?
Don't they have Universal Hip Hop Museum that they
No, but see, no, I think the one that Nas is a part of, it's not fully built yet, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like another year or so. So with this particular hip hop museum gonna be built in the Bronx.
Yeah. We had Willie Esco on the show a couple of months ago too. He's a very good dude. You know, he does a lot of good shit. There's a kid you should check if you haven't checked out also at Jersey. His joint is called By Kai. His name is Cool Kai. And he Cool Kai.
That's the one with the fashion line, right?
Yeah, that young he's doing his thing. Like he's not only like designing, but he's also doing like his own distribution. The dude opened up a warehouse where he actually manufacturing.
Malcolm X shirt for him. That's me.
Yeah. I got a homeboy that I knew since '96, DeMont Pender. I don't know if you heard of the artist DeMont Pender.
Oh yeah.
That's my homie. I'm doing since like '96. We had him on an interview several months ago, and you know, he's real tight with Amari from you know, the guy that played Ghost on Power. So they got a business together, but yeah, they got some dope stuff coming too. But I would definitely love to see you guys like, you know, just have something in that new hip hop museum that's being built. That'll be pretty dope right there.
Yeah, make that plug, man. I'll work with Michael B. Jordan too. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's about to. No, I'm saying I would work with him. He's about to,
I got you. Okay.
fashion, something with fashion. You know.
But what I'll do too, I'm gonna reach out to Demont sometime tomorrow and have him link up with you, because Demont got a lot of dope stuff too, man. And I'm sure that, you know what I'm saying, you was an inspiration for him.
I want to know about that museum for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what you do? Any comments? What you want to leave us with, man? And yo, thank you again for agreeing to do this.
Thank you guys, man. Like, not a problem, man. I mean,
Shout out to you too, Just.
Shout out to Just, shout out King Phade, man. Definitely appreciate you guys coming through for this platform, man. Means a lot.
I'm gonna leave y'all with this
Thank
quick
you, man.
story.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
But you know, when this deals with adversities of life, like, you know, when things go on in your life, you never know why they're happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it might take years for you to see, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, why did this happen? You know,
Right.
and I say that to say, you know, when I was standing in Dapper Dan's spot, you know, in '89, and I was actually 90 or 91. 90, it was 90, and you know, when the store got shut down, you know, that was out in DC. So he was like, "Yo, just bring me the Jeep." So I went and drove the Jeep down to him, you know, and you know, the MCM Jeep that was in all the videos and the girls and LL Cool J, Big Old Buck video. He was driving Dapper Dan's Jeep and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we were talking recently, and he was like, you know, trying to figure out why certain people are coming to him now, why they're attracted to him in a certain way, and have befriended him, you know.
Right.
And I really went into my closet and prayed about it, and was like, you know, and I realized why. So when they shut Dapper Dan down, right, I'm not from the South, so I had no reason to be down there.
Right.
But as a pioneer and what I was doing, you know, Dapper Dan was the same thing. He took me all over. He took me going towards Chicago, Detroit, going in that direction, you know.
Right. Midwest.
And right. And then took me down all the way, you know,
Texas.
We never made it to Miami because by the time we got to Atlanta, they would buy all the clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we took the show on the road.
Right.
You know, when we got to Baltimore, there was some dudes there who, you know, they were Dapper them was sitting in a Jeep. And the dudes came through and pretty much, you know, saw the Jeep and was like, yo, this look like some Dapper Dan stuff. And the dudes turned around and was like, yo, is this really Dap stuff? And Hassan was like, yeah, this is Dapper Dan. It was like, Dapper Dan's in the car right now. And they looked, and it started a friendship relationship with some cats in Baltimore. And the dudes in Baltimore was like, yo, come to Odell's tonight, and we'll sell everything. Odell's.
Hey, you know, hey, King Phade, you know, Rob used to live down in Baltimore.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, Rob used to live down in Baltimore.
Odell's, Hammer Jack. Oh, I forget about it.
I remember Hammer Jack because I live in Maryland right now. I'm from the Bronx. I lived in Jersey, but I live in Maryland right now in College Park, like 5 minutes from DC. But Rob used to live in Baltimore.
Oh my goodness! Well,
I'm all over the place, man. I'm all over the place.
Okay, so you know about Odell's then, right? Yeah, his kid Charles used to be one of the owners. So yeah, so they went up to Odell's and they sold everything out. So they developed a relationship with my boy Tank, So when they found out that I do the airbrush, that was like, yo, they want the airbrush out there. You come on the next run.
Right.
So I came out there, and I end up not looking back because I met a chick out there. So I ended up living out there, and I was like, that would go to and
that's how you got caught, huh? I got caught the same way too. Met a chick and they 17 years. I met a chick at the harbor.
That's where I met her at the harbor.
They're in the harbor. In the harbor. Hey, they're in the harbor spot, man. Yeah.
That was
Well,
a
I'm going
hangout.
to the
I met her at Mount Damen. My bad. I met her at Mount Damen.
I don't mean to digress, and I know you want to finish your story, but I met her there, and I was working at FAO Swartz. As soon as I came back, I put my 2 weeks in and I moved to Baltimore. So.
Same thing, bro.
All in 1 month, yo. All in 1 month.
Man, that's crazy.
No hesitation. No hesitation.
My people was like, "No, you leaving?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm out of here, son. Y'all niggas ain't doing shit. I'm out of here."
Yeah. So I'm out there, so that when he comes through, he picks me up, he comes to the house, or he'll leave clothes there, and he'll just go back, get more, come down, boom, and we make our runs. So the whole New York knew that I was in Baltimore, So, popped open a little shop out there, Baltimore's a gold mine for New Yorkers,
Sure. Yes, sir.
Whatever you did, if you went out there and sold car rims, you just, turn it up. Caked up, and DC caked up. Mm-hmm. So, fast forward, let me just run it down. I had no reason to be in the South, right? So that was my reason for being in the South. The whole New York knew I was out there. So at the same time, I'm going back and forth to New York, and I'm shopping my boy Chase. Chase was part of the Shirt Kings, but he was a rapper also. Mm-hmm. Chase is from Marcy Projects. So I got Chase to do a demo tape, and we went up to Atlantic Records, and I was shopping him to Clark Kent. Clark Kent was my people's, the head A&R. So while we up there, Clark is like, yo, this dude sounds like Jay-Z. He's like, why would I sign him when I can get the real thing? But nobody knows where Jay is at. And I was like, wow, you right. He was like, yo, Phade, if you could find Jay-Z, Jaz-O, and Chase and make them a group, I'll make you a rich man. I was like, well, Jaz-O thing ain't gonna happen because he's in the community in Brooklyn,
Right.
On a train selling instruments right now, and he don't want to do this no more. And Jay, nobody can't find him, so my only option is Chase. And he was like, well, do what you could do. I end up going to Baltimore, and out of nowhere, I get a phone call from my homegirl who just happened to be a mule for some cats in Brooklyn. And Brooklyn left me in a hotel. I've been in here for a whole month. I ain't got no money, no nothing. She was like, please come get me. So I jumped in the Jeep. I'm on my way. But then I said, you know what? I called her, and I was like, who's the dudes? And she told me who they were. I was like, oh, no, I ain't not getting in them dudes' business. I was like, nah. And I told her, I was like, those some real good dudes. Stay there. They will be back. They meant their words. Sure enough, about 2 weeks later, they came back, took care of her, paid her out, sent her back to New York. She was like, yo, you was right. You was right. She said, I'm glad I stayed, but they gave me more money than what I thought. So then she was like, yo, she was like, yo, he said to call you. She was like, Jay said to call him. Here goes his phone number. And I'm like, Jay who? I was like, oh, call Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Let him know that Clark was looking for him. And that's how he met Dame. He ended up going to New York on a humble to the office.
History from there. Damn.
Wow.
I'm saying that if we didn't get pushed out of Harlem
right
into the South, I wouldn't have been in the South. You know, it would have been no reason for her to call me. It would have been no reason for me to get in contact with Jay. It would have been no reason for me to get Jay to Clark. You know what I'm saying? So one circumstance was a domino effect to 10 other steps that happened, you know. And Clark Kent is putting it in his book, you know, and he's verbally been saying this story to a lot of people. You know, he got on the Clubhouse when they were doing the Jay-Z's birthday, December 4th.
Yeah.
Right.
No, 8th, the 4th, yeah. Kashim was December 8th. Jay-Z was the 4th.
The 4th, yeah.
Yeah. And they pulled Clark Kent up. They thought they was going to hear all this other stuff. And he was like, how'd you find him? How'd you, like, you the greatest A&R? He was like, I would have never found him if it wasn't for my man, Shirt King Phade. He said, none of y'all would have had no jobs if it wasn't for him. Like Clark.
But like you said, it was a step on faith because things wasn't happening. And you went to South and got the ball rolling, didn't know that was going to turn into what it turned into.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Right.
Exactly.
That's major history right there too. Damn.
Oh, that story's gonna come to light soon, you know.
Yeah,
That's right.
for sure. Well, Shirt King Phade, we appreciate you.
Big Justin.
We appreciate you too.
Big Justin.
Appreciate you both.
Salute everybody. Thank you for pulling up tonight to the No Ideas Original Podcast. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.
Original podcast. Peace, y'all.
Peace. Thank you for having me.